So we roll my audio and we will go to the live scene. Hey, look, everything's good. Oh my goodness, Ranger Fighter. I need to add you all to level 4, but I'll do that while we're playing. Um, yeah, so hello everyone. Welcome back to this fun, sunny, happy fun time edition of Pathfinder 2nd Edition where everything's all rainbows and puppies and shit. It's great. No, that's absolutely the opposite. Um, we are playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition. We're doing, what was it, dual class, free
Free
archetype.
archetype.
Yeah. So it's a lot of options, a little bit more high powered. But yeah, this whole story so far, just to sum it up in a nutshell, is these fine individuals have woken up in a version of hell, and they are navigating their way through the nasty horrors that exist here. Only seeing to date one, maybe a couple, two devils. Um, the majority of things they have seen have been the depravity of mortals, and that is what they have been running into in this thing. Last time they played, they were making their way. They had made their way through what they thought was a hellish, disgusting restaurant serving the worst kind of things, and they thought they'd made it through, and then found out that that was just the first part of the tasting menu, and they have been navigating the rest of that with very, very disturbing, disgusting entrees and situations they found themselves in. But they had made their way all the way to the last little bit, which was pretty much a tasting of something that was poisoned. And it was only one of them would have been poisoned, but through clever use of their magics and things like that, they were able, and some coercion, they were able to make their way through that to the last parts of this. The entire time this has been going on, there's been an individual known as the chef, and that individual has been knocked off his game, so to speak, as several things have been said to him that have kind of taken the dining experience out of his hands and put it in the hands of the adventurers here. So we'll see what that goes. However, I think last time it was you just finished up and you started walking through the rest of that building, correct? Okay. During that time, you guys were given a chance to sit and rest for a bit. So if you needed to roll hit dice, you can, things like that. You did level up, so that'll also be like a realization of the things you've been through this horrific afternoon so far. So if you need to do any of that stuff, cool. Is there anything crazy new, like class ability wise, that anybody's picked up that I should know about?
So I've got dragon scales now. So I don't think a lot of that would be visible immediately. I think that'd be mostly under my clothes. You might see maybe a little bit on my face, just kind of starting to show up, but it wouldn't be like,
Gotcha.
whole body scaled now, literally.
Right. So everybody, make sure you do note that. Do you want it to be something like like young like reptiles and things like that? It's like very, very subtle and stuff like that until it gets more pronounced. Is it something like that?
Yeah, it's like you start seeing kind of the scaled appearance, but like the pigment hasn't set in yet. So like what you'd sure would become that ruby red right now, it's just more of you're just kind of starting to see the scales kind of appear on the skin.
Maybe a little sunburnt kind of color, but
Exactly. Like you've been in hell, maybe a little bit.
except for this hell, it's been dark and rainy the whole time. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody
Um,
else? Oh, go ahead.
I did pick up Dual Thrower as my free archetype, and so the only reason why I bring it up is I would like to kind of get through the headway now about using dual or double slice as a thrown skill.
Is there not something that allows you to do that? Because double slice, I think it says you can make a melee attack, right? Not a ranged attack.
Right, but with Dual Thrower, my weapons become ranged.
I'll have to look
Stop
at
copying me, Griffin.
that. I'll have to look at it, but yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, you could just take an action to throw and then take an action to throw, right? Dual
Right.
slice. Dual slice is usually you come up and whoosh, like cut in the same action with two weapons, right? Or you
Mhm.
come down, you swing your blades, and it's usually like you swing at the same time, and they're a little less impacted or whatnot.
So dual thrower basically just changes the verbiage. So instead of it having to be a melee strike, now he can do
Okay.
it thrown.
So I didn't know if it was
that's
just
what
like he can just count any weapon as thrown, but he can use dual scythe to throw. That's what it says.
Yeah,
Well,
it's basically
I'm trying to link it.
Yeah. Go
when
ahead
you
and link
make
it. I'm cool with it. It's fine for now. We'll just go from there if it becomes an issue. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Anybody else got anything cool and new that I need to know about? No one's like, oh, suddenly I have a familiar, or like, oh, I got a boat or something. I don't know. Like, anybody got any weird shit like that?
I did it one time.
I agree. I've used a boat. It's a great effect, so it's all good.
Nothing too new on my side.
All right. Fucking awesome. So we will pick up there. You guys find yourselves pretty much in the middle of this. What is it you do?
So are we sitting at a table right now, or we're just kind of waiting to go into like a next room?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I'll kind of notice what's kind of been going on myself, but I won't mention it much. I'll just kind of look to you guys, be like, "Are you ready to proceed?"
You'll notice that Slaw is just very quiet. The most thing that you can hear is just his attempts at controlled breathing, and he is just standing next to the halfling as respectfully close as possible to be on a guard for her.
I'm always ready.
Bye. Oh, let us move on then.
All right. You can see a couple of the servers who've entered the room that was darkened have brought torches and things like that. And they kind of flank you guys. One in the front, one in the rear, and joining you in this walk as well is the chef. So he walks in and he says, "How was the dish?" Asking you all. You said it wasn't bad. That's what he said.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It was definitely a much different texture than what we've been allowed to get around here.
He
He's
nods.
talking about the poison one, right?
Yeah, you're assuming that's probably what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellently
Was it-
seasoned.
There's a wicked
It
grin
wasn't
on his
that good.
face. Yeah, as you say, expertly seasoned. Yeah. And then what did you say, Brent? Sorry.
It wasn't my first choice. Personally.
And what would have made it better? It's a quality improvement thing on my part. I want to give the most exquisite experience. In this case, this dish was meant to both tantalize and terrify. The thought process of having to choose the death of one of your own, and then your all's circumvention of it is interesting. Definitely brought a new dynamic to the dish.
We were supposed to feel fear. Oh, I guess I missed that part.
Give me a deception check, because that's bullshit. That's some bravado as fuck. Let's see what the dice say about that.
This character's half fucking bravado.
Yep, that's why let's take that to the dice, because that's definitely the player outside looking in. Pretty decent. Alright. So as he delivers the line, it does have the desired effect. Yeah. Alright, it wasn't that bad. It's like, bitch, if you did not have magic, one of y'all would have been dead at the table right there. Or basically put to sleep, and then God knows what happened. But yeah, as he does this, he starts talking and explaining about this building, and he says, this building came to us a long time ago, and we've collected some beautiful, things here and there. They opened a set of double doors that leads into what in real life would have been like the entryway into the hospital or thing. You can see a couple sets of doors in the back, one of which you walk out of, and you walk into a room that's set up for a waiting area. There's a large round circular desk kind of area in the middle, as well as windows floor to ceiling that look out into the street. There's a second set of balcony set up higher, and a couple sets of stairs that go up. There's a few guards here that just kind of look menacing, but they also look professional as they're also dressed in chef's attire. But you can see, in addition to the clothes that they would wear, there are some wicked-looking cudgels and things like that on the back, on their backs and so on and so forth. That being said, he says, we will go into probably my favorite portion of this, the dessert. He's like, before that, we'll have a small palate cleanser, or not a palate cleanser, but some cheese, and just give you time to sit and discuss and talk about what you thought about the meal. And he says, if there's anything else that we can do to make this experience worthwhile for you, please let me know. Without further ado, he walks you around and up one of the sets of stairs. You can kind of see, looking down on what was once probably a hospital wing, there is just grotesqueries everywhere. People stapled or pinned to different things, flayed flesh in tapestry layouts, sculptures of different various things that are both macabre and disgusting. But as you walk up, it's what you can see on the floor that kind of maybe unsettles you, as there is the finest, almost imperceptible detail of what looks to be a magical circle inscribed in like mosaic bones on the ground in this entire room. It seems to be incredibly subtle. Like if you're looking at it on the floor, it just looks like floor patterns. But looking top down, you can actually see there's a fairly well inscribed magic circle. You can only tell circle within a circle, runes around the outside, line work on the inside. You can give an Arcana check if you want to know more about that, but you can definitely tell, just the lot of you who've been around this, that's designed to do some magic
Now,
spells.
I know that I've been here the longest than the other three have, or at least have the longest memory than the other three have.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't know magic, would I have any experience with this circle, this trap? Would there be a roll that I could make that's maybe not Arcana?
Yeah, give me a lore check.
Okay.
Hell lore. I think we said you should have taken that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Chef's still with us, right?
Yeah, he's walking you into the next room. A 15. Although you don't know about it, you've seen it before. There's one quite similar at the farm, in the grand foyer of the farm. There's also one in the Free People's Army, which you've been a part of for a little while, then quickly went AWOL. But the circles are there, and they're made of the finest looking bones. Don't know exactly how or why they're there, but they all seem they're very prominent once you see them, and you can't unsee them, kind of.
To Chef, I'll just kind of look and I'll be like, you said dessert is after this, correct?
Cheese and then dessert.
What's my
Oh, I
dessert?
thought we skipped the cheese because I gave him the cheesy flavored biscuits.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
we got best.
So he would have said yes, dessert.
Since we were not able to have any of the actual cheese product, obviously I know you wouldn't want to change too much from your menu, but I do love me a chocolate malt. If there's some way you can get something with at least a similar temperature and consistency, I'd really appreciate it.
The the mention of I know we didn't get this, blah 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 kind of thing. He kind of there's a twinge. And I think this is a good moment for you, character wise. You have a memory kind of flare up. Tell me of a time when your character, either who you know you half of your soul to be or who your soul other half is, tell me a time that they use such underhanded pokes to kind of subtly insult while trying to get what they want, and how did that work or didn't work?
Ooh. Okay.
All y'all are gonna get some of that shit tonight, so just kind of get your creative juices flowing now.
You see a dark room, candlelit, with a woman in dark black armor, kind of pacing back and forth in front of a war table. Among her, you see this man with angled features, as well as another with a mechanical-looking arm. And you hear them just kind of going back and forth about different stratagems and how you can't just go and wipe out an entire village of people just to get something done, or how you need to protect, one saying how you need to protect the innocents, and just them going round and round about the difference of how much acceptable losses are actually permitted.
Okay. Right. Now you kind of have that memory flood back in for a moment. And then it fades, so you remember the memory, but the moment fades. You guys are escorted into a larger room. This probably was some sort of meeting room at one point. However, you can see it has been done up in some sort of way to resemble what you would imagine a old-time inn would be. Stone wrought floors, nice, rustic kind of picture in your head the quintessential D&D style tavern, like a dwarven tavern kind of feel, where it's all dark stone, all nice polished hardwood, dark colors and things like that. But with that, you can see in the room, set on either side, there's sets of benches where you'd have people sit. There's inset in the middle of this, in the back, there's looks to be a bar of sorts with a menu, things like that. Where there's two things on the menu for dessert. There's two what look to be goblins that are dressed in the fine attire of these individuals, and they are, for all intents and purposes, cleaning the bar, looking busy like they would be running this tavern. There's no indication of anybody else in here. You can't see anything. And it's very echoey, and just the sides and corners of this room are shadowy enough to where it's someone could sit in the shadow. Very, like the guy in the corner of the inn, trying to hide, like the very Strider-esque kind of character that you would see. But that being said, you see dominating the middle of this room, though, there is a statue carved of stones, bone, whatever you could, that looks to be of a dwarf with the Viking-style helmets, a big beard, a hammer faced down, and it just says Thunders underneath it. Don't know why or to what reason this is there. Past that bar in the back center of it, you can hear the commotion of somebody setting plates and doing some other things like that. The only other thing of note you see in the room, set on your far left, the farthest left, there's a small archway which leads to a room that's got a little light coming out of it. It's a flickering light from under a wooden door. Past that, looks like an inn. All intents and purposes. The chef says, I leave you in capable hands, and I will prepare your last dish for you. Please enjoy this one. Take your time. Savor it.
That statue, does it seem out of place in the room? Like it might have been here before the other stuff, or like all the room makes sense with it?
It looks very much in the theme of Dis, but not in the theme of this room. It looks like this is a Dis version of a center point, a statue of some sorts. Doesn't look out of place, but it definitely... It's kind of weird. You wouldn't see that in a lot of places. Maybe a smaller statue, maybe a, like a little fountain, or a, there's, you've heard stories of a well that's in the middle of one that was, a tavern was built around it, things like that. But it just kind of is right there in the middle, doing its thing.
Would I guess that it's a construct?
How would you determine that?
Constructs would have been very common in my time, I would assume.
Which skill is what I'm asking.
Arcane or Arcana.
Okay, tell me of a time that one of your souls encountered a construct, and what happened when you did. Or why were they common, and why would you know?
Oh, here we go. Long ago, one of my uncles was very worried about people stealing the family fortune. So, to combat this, he built a very intricate grave. Inside the grave, we had many, many constructs to protect our wealth as well as our final resting places. And one of the last big constructs that most people never survived against was Medusa, or Gorgon. And it was very difficult, but the way it was designed, it looked like it was part of the facility until it actually came to life and killed those wandering adventurers.
I like it. Okay, so with that, give me a general knowledge, so just a lore check, and you can use like whatever stat you want that you think would help you remember that, based off of what you said, what you think is appropriate. Just do this, a 15 or 16. Rolled it on the dice, easy peasy. Yeah. You think that is more than meets the eye. There's something additional to that you can't quite put your finger on without close examination. However, you do note with a 27 that it's dormant. It could potentially be a construct of sorts. Right now, it's not. It's a grotesque statue.
I'll look at the three of you and be like, I think it's a construct, but I'm sure if I use magic to try to identify it, it might activate itself.
Called them something different in my time, but I think I know what you're to speak of. What is like on the menu?
There are two dishes. One, there's a chocolate tart. The second one are... It's lady fingers is what it says, but the word fingers and lady are both in individual quotes.
Damn, because like if it was like the actual food lady fingers, I would have loved some of those. But...
Fucking A right. Love that shit. It's fucking delicious.
And then you said there's another room that's kind of, we just kind of see a light coming from.
Yeah, this one right here. You're on.
And the only people in the room are these just kind of two at the bar?
Yep, just the two goblins. That one of them's like cleaning a glass and setting it back on the thing. The other one seems to be sitting there expectantly, waiting for you guys, but is not making a forward push.
I'm not gonna go like open the door, but I will just kind of like walk over there and just kind of see if I can get an angle as to like, you know, just a little bit of what's inside the room.
There's a wooden door, and you can just see the light peeking out from under it. So.
Oh, from underneath it? Okay.
Yeah, around the cracks and stuff.
Gotcha. Not much I can do there.
I will walk towards the goblin at the bar.
All right.
And I would follow.
Is it the
Yeah.
one on the left or the right?
Either of them. They're both at the bar.
Okay.
The one right here is the one that is cleaning, the one that I marked, the northernmost one.
Okay. And I have Abaddon. He's still on my tattoo, so he's asleep.
Okay.
How intimidating does this statue seem?
Less intimidating, more unsettling. It just seems out of place. I mean, it's out of place is the wrong term. It just seems so extra for this room. Everything else is painstakingly tried to be as rustic as possible. I mean, it's pieced together, but it's pieced together in a way that looks like it's almost believable. You know what I mean? The stones are all found, the tiles are all found and polished and set in place to resemble this tavern. But you know, you walked outside, this is not where a tavern is. You know? So this is definitely a facsimile or a copy of a tavern. But
So I would kind of step aside from the halfling and kind of get close and near Ondal's side and like chin point over to the statue. And do you know of the rhymes and tales?
The rhymes entail.
Mm-hmm. As I like chin point towards the statue.
When I look at the statue, does it look familiar or anything?
Give me a lore check. Whatever lore you think would be the best for that. Wherever you think you could draw inspiration. Or... This is so an abhorrent thing of nature that you have no fucking clue what that is.
I would look back over and I don't think I'm aware of what you speak.
I'll just talk low and I'll say, let me remind you of some of your heritage. And I just speak low to you and just say, the sleepless warrior who only dreams, the one whose might flows with men in steam, with ironworks and tears of blood. These men of metal are sure no fun. It's just a cautious warning.
I love that.
And how do you know this knowledge?
It's
And what's the significance of this statue?
you don't know the songs of our people?
There's a lot of things I don't remember at the moment. Not my choice.
Just be cautious around it. It makes me feel unsettled.
That I can do. And then I would move towards Horus. We'll move to the goblins.
Okay.
Cautiously.
You guys are at these goblins. They seem to be awaiting you to talk to them. Like they actually are like looking at you wide-eyed, waiting for input.
Hello.
Hello, you've made it this far. Not many people do. We have 2 options for desserts tonight. Hopefully one of them will satisfy your curiosity and taste buds. They were painstakingly sourced from all over this place. So please, choose whichever one you'd like. The other goblin... I'm sorry, cut you off, but the other goblin speaks up like almost after the other one quits, and he goes, if you have questions about them, please ask. Go ahead.
Ah, perfect. The chocolate tart, how is that being prepared this evening?
He goes very in-depth into a very culinary-filled diatribe on this tart. I don't know how well-versed you are in cooking. In fact, why don't we do some sort of roll for that? What do you think would tell you about cooking?
Let's see here. What do I got? I'm not trained in it, but realistically, crafting would be the appropriate check.
Crafting might be. However, your character I don't think's ever fucking made his own fucking food in his life the way you're playing him.
Yeah.
So I think crafting would not be the one for you. I think it would probably be persuasion or something along those lines.
Performance would be
maybe something along those lines. Yeah.
That's the same check anyway. So let's just say performance. Just because I'm trying to put on a show,
18.
basically.
In 18, he explains, and you pick up on most of what he's saying. Some of the terminology and phrasing and things like that is lost on you. However, for the most part, you understand it. Sounds above board. The thing that takes you away from the situation is, where the hell did they find these ingredients? Like, that's crazy. Some of these things he's talking about is like, you would need berry bushes and, an actual source of chocolate and real milk and, some place to cool and chill and all these things. It's not something you've seen here, even though despite all of their attempts at fine dining and culinariness, been close but not quite there.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I was looking for. So it actually seems like it's going to be a chocolate tart, not some macabre way of making a chocolate tart.
Exactly
At least
what he described as chocolate tart. Yeah.
Okay. And what of the lady fingers?
Quite similar. He gives you an exquisite rundown of how they're gonna do this and the cookie and this and that and everything. And he gives you this whole rundown. Again, sounds legit. However,
Seems above board.
sourcing these ingredients sounds like an impossibility. And he's speaking it with such, oh, yeah, that's gonna happen.
Is there a place that's out of sight of these goblins that would be a good way to stealth?
If you can see it on the map, you can definitely give it a shot.
I mean, I guess my question is, you have this guy right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
How far can he see off to the right or off to the left, or?
That is entirely up to that creature. You have no idea. I would say if you get off to those sides and you start determining, you could come up with a spot where you feel his dead zone would be, but you don't get to look through another creature's senses. So if you'd like to try to go somewhere or get some information from me on that, give me a skill check.
That's the one that's actually giving me the explanation, right?
Yes. He's the one, like, this one's been like, oh, let us know what you want, I'll do the stuff. And this one's been like, this one's been like, oh, it's this and that and the other thing. So, yeah.
Okay, so I imagine if he's talking to me, I probably would have at least gotten a little bit better positioning.
Sure.
Just, not necessarily blocking, but, addressing who I'm talking to.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely distraction going on. So, I mean, there is that.
I'm going to just pick up the halfling and tell her, I think there's things that we should go and discuss while we wait for dessert. And I'll just pick her up and I will take her all the way to the back table and sit her down and kind of gauge the situation from there before I do any sort of stealth check.
Okay. She is totally calm, and she just, when you sit down, she asks, and sleeps with you too. But you can see as a lot of you sit down, she asks you, "What dessert are you gonna get?"
Hopefully the dessert of revenge. Not my own personal revenge, but for the revenge of the others that have died here.
She nods and gives an approving smile. Sleep just looks at you. Doesn't make any outward anything. But
Can I do a perception check to see what the notice looks like in this direction?
yeah, I'd say that's fine. Yeah, I would say from there you don't even need to.
No. Okay.
I would say you can't see him, so there's a very good chance he can't see you.
Okay. Then if that's the case, I'd like to roll and set up for stealth.
Sure.
Okay. Which I probably should have chosen to improve on. That's all right. And I'll just let them know. Keep talking. Make yourselves noticeable. And I'll just take a few steps on the other side of the table and just stick close to the wall.
Okay. You, with a 16 stealth, begin skulking about the room, trying to stay out of the sight of the other. What is everyone else doing? I know Voth is definitely asking about the food. To other you, what are you doing?
After they give the description of the chocolate tart, and he starts to get the description for the other one, I'm just like, no, I'd like the chocolate, please.
That'll actually be 2 of the tarts.
2 tarts. And for you, he looks at Voth.
You know, I think I'll switch it up. I will try the lady fingers.
Excellent choice. And he kind of looks around. Where'd the other one go? Does he want one?
Oh yes, he told me he needed to just go have a conversation with one of our compatriots. He'll have the lady fingers as well.
Right. He looks, and the one that was talking to you about the stuff turns around and walks into the kitchen. Well, you can hear a slight, the setting and moving around. But yeah. So the lot of you are sitting there. This one, so he goes in here. This guy moves over here, and he's like, please, choose a seat, and we'll be with you shortly. If there's anything else I can get you, drinks perhaps, please let me know.
Oh yes, what beverages are you offering?
He gives you a short list. It's like cool, purified water. He says there's a few common drinks you've seen around here, like a mulled wine kind of thing. What they call house juice, things like that. You're like, you can get some of that stuff. He does offer milk as well.
I'll look at him and be like real milk?
Yes.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I have a milk with the dessert when it comes. Was there any like hard liquors?
Just
that
not really. You think that would be
Okay.
the next course after the dessert. If
Okay.
That's gonna be.
I'll just take a water for now then. I'll have milk with the dessert.
And 2 more waters. One for my friend who's still talking.
He nods and he moves to go bring them to you. You all have free reign of this room, as all of the goblins seem to be outside of it now. You see the 2 sitting at the thing, and unless you all want to roll a perception check, you don't immediately see Slaw.
I'll look at the 2 of you and be like, where'd the other one go?
I saw him go with the halfling. maybe has a plan. I am curious to see what this course entails. More poison. Another fight.
Considering his skilled hands we saw earlier with those locks, I just kind of assumed he was one of those denizens that preferred to skulk about, so I figured he was doing something like that. But as I kind of look around, yeah, seems to be so. The gods, what are they kind of doing?
Sleep is sitting there right next to the other one, and you kind of look at them. They're just sitting. She's sitting, waiting, observing you guys, and he's sitting, waiting, observing her.
What did you guys end up picking for your dessert?
She looks, oh, I'm not a dinner guest. And Sleep says, the tart.
I'll just kind of look at Sleep, be like, have you mentioned that you plan on traveling with us after we hopefully get through this place?
He says, there is a reason I gave my token. And he nods at Horace. I don't think I'm going to exit this place. You do. Take that token with you. I and my children know what to do.
I'll just kind of look at her and I'll be like, is there some sort of similar thing we can do for you?
What is it that you're doing? She looks at Sleep. He just nods at her and he says, they want to take me out of this place. There's a very concerned look on her face. You sure that's the best idea? He says, one should try.
I'll look over at her and be like, reading Sleep's tapestries specifically state there's no gods left in heaven. The only way to create balance is to give the heavens and the hells their deific strength.
She smiles very warmly. Actually kind of changes the temperature around you guys, you feel almost. At least it seems like it does. She's like, that's a beautiful dream. I could see why you're traveling with Sleep. It'd be wonderful if it was true.
My motives are much simpler. I wish to gain power while I'm down here, and as I've kind of looked at him, at the very least, his knowledge has proved useful, and someone like yourself, I feel that your knowledge can also be useful. All I offer is a similar offer. If you wish to somehow, if there's some way we can somehow help you escape this place, I'll extend that offer to you. Any who choose to aid me have my protection.
Again, the ear-to-ear beaming smile. What makes you think I'm not here because I want to be?
I never meant to make that presumption. It was only an offer in case you wanted to. A change of scenery, if you will. I know the weather seems to be rather consistent here. I do hope there's a sunny day somewhere else.
I'll look over at her and be like, why would you want to be down here?
She's looking at Voth and then looks like she has some. She's processing what he said, and looks at what you said, and she says, "All the people who know who I am are here. That's where I need to be."
Well, I'll just come out and say it Who are you?
Oh, that's my apologies. I never. And he looks like you can see Sleep look at you like, buddy. She goes, I'm known by many names. I have many, many different forms. This is the one that I got to choose coming down here. But I'm the evening star. I am the summer breeze. I am the autumn. I am Vesper. I am the first day of spring. I am the rebirth of all.
That cannot be right. From what you described, you would be stuck to the past. If you were the first day of spring, wouldn't you be always trying to take a step forward, move on to the future? As I link my fucking campaign quote.
It's very good, actually. This is a step towards the future. Does this place not deserve spring? Especially when all who know of me are here and could use this rain to stop. Who could use the sun to come out. Promise of renewal.
So you have some sort of plan then?
Yes, in time.
At a change of seasons, if you will.
She smiles, yeah.
I believe the purpose of this place is to break people. There's no hope. And that's why. Are our 3 followers still with us?
Yeah, they're just very quiet and not important to this story, so they're fucking cowering behind everything and just existing. They're not even included in the food stuff. They just count them as like, as fucking gross as
Potential
bad as it is.
ingredients.
Yeah, they're like, cool. They brought it's a handbag. That's what they look at. That's about the importance they look at that.
So I'll kind of indicate towards our followers and be like, we gave them hope. And we hope to give others hope.
Well, you rescued me without any provocation. You could have slaughtered me and moved on. I'm just a lowly little halfling. So I see that.
Fucking Voth will just kind of have that realization moment when she says the word slaughter, and I'll just be like, is that what Slaw's name comes from? Is that an orcish thing?
The orcs are very good at slaughter. They're very efficient.
Efficiency is good.
There's a moment where you get this kind of thing, like Sleep kind of is like trying to catch her. You may not have even noticed it, but you're looking at her when she talks. Like she has a presence in this room where eyes go to her. It's just without trying. When she speaks, you just kind of listen. Like it's that kind of weight. And you can see Sleep is now trying to get your fucking attentions and be like, he's like, don't get her going. Like you can tell he's making those mannerisms, not saying it out loud, but.
Only other curiosity I have is you say everybody else that knows you is here. Who would that be? The other seasons?
Oh, I'm not sure what happened to them. But I do know everyone who knew of me is here. whatever goes on in the other realms is for whatever is in there now to deal with. I'm not sure anyone would recognize me if I made my way out. Give me an Arcana check for anybody who wants to try to reason that cosmologically.
Arcana.
Nice.
Not bad.
Voth with a 20, you kind of get... yeah, she's been here down for a long time. Who knows what... Even, and you kind of stop to think, and it takes you away from your thought process for a second. What is going on in the other realms of existence, if they exist? Like, you know, and it just kind of takes you away from your train of thought. Horus, though, with the 28, you have a little bit more clarity on this, and you're like, if a god dies, and they go here, where supposedly everyone's at, and people would know of them, would still regain their power, probably. That's if your basic understanding of cosmological gods and stuff makes sense. So if she left and no one's heard of her as a god, she'd be very diminished in power. So she can stay down here, and even if people don't worship her and her stuff isn't there, like there's no seasons and there's no, you know, renewal, and that stops and makes you think. There kind of is a little bit of renewal. It's really fucking twisted and dark and fucked up, but isn't that what this place invokes? Everyone's renewed every time they die. She's getting probably some sort of pseudo fucking terrible fucking slap chop worship out of people being reborn. Just that action. If she is who she says she is, and your understanding is correct. So, I'm not quite sure. You get that kind of thing. That, yeah, maybe if she left here, she wouldn't be as powerful. Who knows?
So with that, then I'll kind of look at her, and I'll kind of look over at Sleep, and I'll be like, if everybody is constantly dying and renewing, that's giving you more deific power, right?
Pointing at Sleep or at her?
At her.
The smile goes from like beaming to kind of a more serious, and she goes, awesome.
So wouldn't that power grow if people knew of your excellence and your contribution to them?
I've never demanded worship. I don't like churches. I like celebrations. I like people being in what I can give and what I can bring. That's enough for me. A celebration day, solstice festival. Waking up and embracing the sun as it warms your flesh against the meadows, and you know, the dawn of spring morning. Those are things that people appreciate. Those are the little acts of worship that I feed, fed off of. As much as your mortal mind comprehends the grasp of power, creatures like me and Sleep here are a little different, even in this form.
Would the ruler of this not have a similar power?
Sleep looks at you. That is where he draws everything. This place is designed to sow strife. People feel that. Struggle. He is fed. He is maintained. And in turn, his master is also empowered.
So I might not know as much of gods as he does, but if it's all about, you know, believing in something, would that mean if we somehow shifted people's focus, somehow should be able to gain power here, and instead of focusing on the strife, rather celebrating the life and the rebirth process. I know there's some cultures in my time that did such.
The nuances and small details, what you're describing, would take years to write. There is more than just a concept involved. There are rules, both cosmic, legal, binding things that make that an impossibility. We are as much prisoners here as you are, but you have mortal potential. We have cosmic certainty.
Yeah, I'll admit that cosmology stuff is where I do get lost. We didn't have that in my time.
He nods and goes, just know that if you survive this and make it out, you will know more of this. A lot more of how my understanding of things works. And she nods and says, you're trying to leave? It's the first time she's heard that you guys are trying to leave this. And she goes,
Yes, that's what I meant about the offer. We're trying to get out of here.
oh, people have come and made offers and bargains and buys for power for as long as I can remember being down here. But if you guys are trying to get out, do you have a plan?
Not really.
Slaw, give me a perception check. "21. You move silently to the door. You are able to listen and even peek in, and you can see the two goblins. And behind the counter, next to a boiling pot of water, there's a pot inside. And you can see a little bit wisps of steam, bubbling chocolate. You can smell inside this place. You see on the counter is a small creature, not small, about the size of the halfling. Is a monkey person, like a chimpanzee, not a chimpanzee, a lemur person. They kind of are like a cross between that. But this one has chef whites on, manacles on his arms, and you can see there's long leather cords that go to somewhere back in the wall. But you could hear him say, with these four, he's like, if we can get those three to take, then that means I'll have 2 desserts and then I can go. 2. No one makes it this far. This is great. See if you can get them to do it. If they can get that, then I can get the fuck out of here. And they go, why would you want to leave the chef? He's great. He provides so much. He's like, yeah, the chef is great. You see this little lemur person bouncing around. He's making food. He's making desserts. And then the 2 goblins are just sitting there like, yeah, well, they're pouring the drinks and things like that, setting them on a tray, getting ready for service, right? But it seems like the lemur person does not want to be here. 2 goblins are ensuring that he stays here.
Okay. So if that's the case, can I still maintain my sneaky status and then head off in this direction down the hallway?
Go ahead. Yeah. You just want to scout that area out?
Kinda, yeah. Like I see the door and I want to see what's going on behind it.
You see a set of double doors that says private room.
It does.
Yeah. so you can't
Is it-
see inside the room, but the door is not locked. It's just a set
The
of
door's
double
not-
doors. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to open the door very carefully and just, well, I guess it really depends if it's push or pull, but pull. Okay. Then I'm going to stay on the side of the door and move with it and just pull it like barely an inch just to see if I can hear anything going on inside the room.
Easily done. You crack the door. Doesn't make a squeak. There's nothing. No sounds coming from that room.
Okay. Then taking stock of that, I'll enter the room.
You can see what looks to be a private dining chamber. Comfy cushions and sitting areas, around with 6 chairs, the 7th chair at the head. Some just grisly trophies like you'd expect to see in any room like this, but it's a room set for a private audience, private dessert.
And the wall here,
Mm-hmm.
does it seem to be
Thick stone.
solid construction?
Yeah, as far as you can tell.
Can I do any sort of? Can I do an investigation to see if I can find a weak point in the wall or see an area where maybe stonework wasn't done very well?
How about this? What's your goal?
I thought that my goal was going to be to go through the door and fuck shit up, but seeing the lemur and how he's not really wanting to be here, I want to try and find a new way into this kitchen.
Okay.
And I don't want to meta and go, this way about it because that's metaing and that's not the way I want to do it. So
I'd be going through solid stone over there, but it's all
yeah,
I'll save you the trouble. You look, there's no other way into that kitchen. It's one way in, one way out, unless you count this way. In the kitchen, you did see a large door that led to some sort of storage area, a pantry.
Mhm.
And yeah, unless there was a door out of there. Here, which there would be, there's a dumbwaiter. There's a set of stairs, but you didn't see those. But yeah, so one way into the kitchen, one way out of the kitchen.
okay. I will quickly regroup with the weirdos, and I will let them know that it's just another trap. They're trying to get us to consume something. However, it looks like the chef for this particular meal is trying to get out of the situation that they're in rather than enjoying what they're doing.
Did he say how?
Did he say how he wanted to get out?
Mm.
2 more desserts. That's all he said, and then he'd be done. But I don't know what that means.
As you bring that out, one of the servers comes, and he has a tray of drinks, and he says, "Which table would you like? You were sitting over here, but you can sit at any table you want."
Oh, we'll go over to that table.
Okay. As you make your way over to the table, I'm assuming everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Make your way over to that table. He sets the drinks down. There was a water ordered for you, Slaw. As everyone is over there, kind of just chilling, doing their thing, he drops the things and he says, "Our chef is looking to extend his dessert menu to your servants. Would any of you care for dessert?" They all look at you like, "Is this cool? Can we have a dessert?" They all ask for the lady fingers. They all sound like that's what they want.
Excellent choice.
He looks at Sleep and Vesper, and they both decline. And he goes, "Good. We'll have 3 extra dishes brought up. Thank you." And he asks them each individually if they want something to drink. They all ask for just water. And they sit and wait. And he returns back to the kitchen. What do you do next?
I don't know about the 3 of you, but I'm done with these games.
Well, let's think about this. One of the last courses, we determined the fate of the sous chef, or was it?
You did the first course. You determined the fate of who would become the sous chef. The second course, you determined the fate of the 3 individuals having food. The last course, you determine the fate of someone in your party eating the food. I see your line of reasoning, Brett. Fucking big brain fucking thinker over here. I
So
straight
my-
up think you read my notes, you cocksucker.
My question is, we should have a plan. We approach the dish being given to him. Like I said, we can determine this to be possibly easier than it needs to be. Especially if this one creature wants to escape and not be
Wouldn't-
here.
That'd mean we've already done it, yes? We gave them desserts, so that should release him, I think you said.
I don't think
Well,
they count.
Or
We're
is
the
it
ones
the
that
judging?
We're the ones that have survived the hero's feast. This is all about us.
The desserts were served to us, right?
They're not out yet. No.
Okay, not yet.
They're still being
okay.
prepared, yeah. This was just drinks because you guys asked for them.
We've been eating a few courses now, but I know we probably wouldn't have been eating like the full thing unless we had to. How like full are we feeling at this point?
Not full at all. This
Okay.
this is fancy
Professional
restaurant.
dining.
So,
Yeah.
You're like, oh, look at this main entree. It's like this is a fucking cracker with a fucking Triscuit. There's like a Triscuit and a fucking piece of bologna. Like this ain't gonna feed me. Fuck is this
Well,
shit?
worst case, if these lady fingers turn out to be pretty good, I might just order another serving, or hell, maybe a tart. It did seem like it was all made of real chocolate. I wouldn't mind.
I propose to you, Voth. What if, just thinking, consuming or taking part is what... This guy has a lot of followers for no good reason.
He's a cook in a place devoid of food. Why would that not be a reason to follow him?
This is a place of punishment, Voth. This isn't a place that people choose to go to. No one vacations here in Dees. They find themselves here. They're sent here. They're punished here. We're all facing judgment in some way, shape, or form just by being here. Perhaps with a full exception and participation in everything that's happening here, you're just another follower of this man's ideology.
Oh, I guess I just have a different perspective. I mean, in a place where you have essentially can always come back to life, if you really hated your current one, wouldn't you just end it?
Life is the punishment here, Voth. There is no embrace of death to send you off. You always come back.
Yes,
What-
and then be forced into another. I mean, this macabre environment. There was the farms we happened to pass. I think I saw, or there was those mole people that we saw eating those weird dog-like people. Weirdly enough, you'd think they'd be different, but rather similar. No matter what, you're in some different state of hell, correct? So, wouldn't the ones here have chosen this hell as their way of serving it rather than a different one?
Who gets to choose their own hell?
By not taking their life. Isn't that not choice?
You've been here for how long?
Like less than a week.
That we
Okay.
can
don't-
remember.
Yeah, you can
we
remember,
don't have
yeah.
much memory of it, so
Okay.
but I remember about a week's worth.
And you've died already, correct?
I think once, yes.
Okay. Death here.
Twice, yeah.
Death here is inevitable, whether it's by someone else's hand or your own. And trust me, taking your own life gets really old really quick. And it doesn't sate the satisfaction of wanting to be released from this madness. All I'm saying is that by continuing to feed into the ideologies of this madman, you may slowly be becoming succumbed to them, and that's what this place is designed to do to you. You want to stay here forever and be a chef? By all means, Voth. I know dick all about you, and if this is what you want, this is what you want. I just don't want to be here anymore. I'd rather continue to fight beasts and devils and all manner of just horrible things in this place.
Oh, I agree with you. I want to leave. I just don't. We just have this course, and then we'll be allowed on our way. Isn't that what you told us?
So while he's speaking to you, you can. Voth can't. I mean, not Voth. Slaw can't hide it. He's just breathing exercise as calm as he can when he talks to you.
I'm about to rage on this
'Cause he's trying
motherfucking kid.
really
Don't know
hard.
shit about shit.
Not to blow his shit on you. I can let you know I'm not partaking anymore. I've done what I can. I ate my fill at the sausage to try and spare those souls from having to be recycled and reused. I'm done. So whatever the next meal is, whatever they could bring ambrosia on a plate. They could bring shit on a plate. I don't care. I'm not eating it.
You can
Nor do
see-
you have to. We would not force you to, and we would deal with the repercussions.
Indeed.
Suit yourselves.
You can
It'll
see.
be fine.
You can see Sleep kind of looks up and he goes. He looks at Voth and he goes, "Have you ever drawn or used a pencil?
Yes.
It's vibrant and sharp when it's new, but over time as it wears down, it's dull, boring. And those sharp, interesting points in using the pencil go away. It's all flat. You're still sharp. You're still new. You still have dreams." He looks at Slaw. Slaw is much like me. You're a pencil that has almost run its course.
I'll look over at Sleep and be like, and that's okay. I like tap his pendant and I'll be like, I'll carry the weight.
He nods.
So that's right. It is all just a matter of perspective. You need to. I'll just kind of look at you and be like, you need to chip up a bit more.
No, you are the fucking worst. I hate you. I hate that so much. Just stop being sad, fucking nerd. Like, what's wrong with you? It's like, ah!
Yeah.
You seem to really enjoy yourself when you were fighting. Maybe learn to revel in it more.
Oh, God, that is the. If that isn't the quintessential thing of hell, like, you could just revel in the murder of the people. Just because. Yeah.
Which you missed a cultural exchange earlier. Slaw, is that short for slaughter? Is that an orcish thing?
I don't know what my name used to be. It just sounded great at the time.
Insight check, whatever the fuck that is. Deception in this.
Sure. Deception versus persuasion, I guess. Opposed rolls. Or you can. How about this, Griffin? If you 100% are telling the truth, you can just
Yeah.
tell the truth.
I'm
yeah.
100% telling the truth.
Mhm.
It wasn't short for anything. It was just like, ha. Short for.
Just making sure it wasn't one of those like names you got given at one point. And you're like, God damn it, yeah, that's the reason why.
It's Colonel Slaw. Call me Coleslaw.
Cold slaw. Which is also a play on Sergeant Slaughter as well. So there's two different fucking things, which is pretty legit. Anyway, it's about this time that trays of desserts come out. And they are slid in front of you. They look good. They smell good. They plate them in front of you, and they take a little powdered sugar, put it over the tart, and a little drizzle over top of the lady fingers, and they, explain the dish as they set them down, and be like, if there's anything else you can or need from us, please enjoy. And they step back, and unless anybody has any questions, you're presented with tarts and lady fingers.
Bro, I love me a dessert. I start fucking that shit up.
Give me a con save.
Before they walk away, I'll look at it and be like, the presentation looks nice, but my friend made a very valid point. You can take this back to the kitchen.
Something wrong with it?
made a very valid point about not playing into the chef's game. I respect that.
They take your dishes. You can see the people who are with you are like, oh man, is this a test or something? I would say 2 of them also hand it back out of principle, and then the other guy's like, oh, I already ate it. Oh no, it fell in my
that was
mouth.
my follower.
Yeah.
That
He was
my-
like, oh no, it fell in my mouth. It's a tragedy.
Oops, all ladyfingers.
So these 2 guys are bringing 4 of the what is it, 7 desserts back.
I don't know. What are you doing, Brett?
Oh man, the one thing I would eat is the one thing we take away. No, I respect the decision, and I said I would stand by. If you think the right choice here is to deny the dish, which I believe is putting us in a violent path of death at this point. However, we've handled a lot of situations before. I will follow suit. And I would willingly give up my plate as well.
5 of 7 dishes are going to be returned to the kitchen.
So, before all of these are taken away, though, like I say immediately start chowing. Like, how good is this?
Fucking amazing. This is actually food. This is good food. It's lady fingers with a drizzle of a chocolate sauce on top. Fresh as you can imagine anything down here being. Exquisitely made.
So when they're trying to take the plates, I'll be like, I'll have those.
They go. It's 1 dessert per menu.
Oh. I never got that kind of feeling from this type of service that you deny a guest something they wished.
The chef says overindulging in a certain dish ruins the entire palate of the meal. It would be like if you gorged yourself on some savory thing and then tried to eat something sweet later on. It would not taste the same as if you had a more refined palate.
Oh, I was just trying to use this as a replacement for the cheese dish he was not able to provide us with earlier.
They look. He loves. They start to say he loves doing the cheese dish. I don't know what he's talking about. And they go, our apologies, but we'll be taking these back to the kitchen. There's oddly sharp grins on their face. Goblins smile big, as is. They have big, huge, floppy, ears and big bulbous heads. But this grin is huge as they're taking 5 of the 7 dishes back to the kitchen.
Well, if your ears are true, I guess that Lima person's going to be here a lot longer now.
No, you weren't listening. I said he only said 2 more dishes. Assuming that the other people don't count, then maybe he's short by 1.
Yeah, he'd be short now.
But who knows about the rules of this place?
You hear, as soon as they walk back in there, a commotion. Look! You're kind of far away around a corner, too. He's like, no! No! You just hear him kind of like, no! There's a plate clatters to the ground.
Man, and I thought you liked saving people. This is really good, by the way. You guys are missing out. I have this tall glass of milk next to it too.
Just
I'm fucking
fucking-
that shit up with it. Just fucking dunking some of that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is perfect. It is the
My
best thing
eyes
you've
are
had
wide.
down
Your
here.
joy infuriates me.
Yeah, it feeds me.
I look over at Slaha and then kind of. I really hope this was worth it. Revolt is indulging in front of us.
What kind of a dragon does not indulge himself when he wishes to?
Damn it. I think that's probably the best time for the kind of see like the shimmer of the scales, maybe like on an elbow as you're like no, just
Yeah,
like throwing
you'll
it.
see the candlelight flicker as you just kind of notice the scales on my face.
That's your weak elf half talking.
I can only hope this is an orcish tradition that I am unaware of that we are doing right now.
I don't think I mentioned anything about being elfish at all, right?
Oh, he's talking to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's trying to jab me.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's like, you're the F word,
Every right.
bird.
Every right.
Yeah. He was being racist, but yeah.
Leave it to an orc.
Yeah, leave it to an orc. But anyway, a lot of you sit there. The two of you finish your desserts, and there's just you can hear anger and stuff like being tossed around in the kitchen, and then one of the goblin comes out and says, "Excellent. Please enjoy. We'll be making some coffee, and we'll bring it out to you. And then after that, we will escort you out for the last dish, and you will be among the small group of people on our Diners Club."
By the way, could you send back my compliments to the chef? That was amazing. I really wish I could have had more servings.
Again, the wicked grin. Yes. We'll let him know he did great.
I follow them on to the next course.
Oh, they bring out little cups of like espresso,
Oh, okay.
and they
Nice.
set it out in front of
Fucking
everybody.
after later fingers too? Oh, with a fucking side of milk? Oh, this has been the fucking best, dude.
Mhm.
Oh, he's
Little
got
little things of coffee.
Is
the whole
Slaw?
time. Okay.
I was just gonna ask, is Slaw drinking the coffee? No.
Like,
Alright, go. Everyone loses here.
actually, everybody give me, who's not going to do this, give me a wisdom or a will save. Because this coffee smells great.
Yeah, the whole time I'm doing the obnoxious like,
Oh, Slaw, you want nothing more in this world than to fucking drink this coffee. To the fact that you're like, I'm not gonna do it, 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 and it's right here, and you're just like smelling it. You're like, there's a moment. Do you
Can I
play it?
use my crit to put my hand over the top?
I was gonna say, like, Horace, you're sitting there like, no, we have to do this right. And you see him like, oh my god, coffee. You haven't smelled this in years, Slaw. This is something that just really is taking you a place. Just this little thing can't hurt. It's not that bad. But yeah, you do see it, Horace. So if you want to be like, we don't do that here, you can definitely do that.
I'm totally gonna put my hand over the top of it, and I'll look at you like dead in the eyes and be like, "I can make coffee for you later."
I accept that, but I go into a rage and I throw the espresso cup against the wall in rage.
Give me a perception check, Slaw. Actually, everybody give me a perception check. If it's above a 14, let me know. The DC to hear is. Horace and Voth, you do not hear.
lip smacking too loud.
But the two orcs, they do hear. There's gentle weeping coming from the kitchen. And almost what you can see or hear in between those weepings are just chuckles. Goblin-like chuckles. But yeah, unless there's anything else anybody wishes to do, proceed past this next part.
Do we want to try and? I'm sorry, it doesn't come out that calm. I would just almost with a Tourette's-like tone. It would just be, should we save the fucking lemur?
Fucking fuck! Shit!
I thought you would never ask. I think
All
we
you
should.
had to do is eat that amazing dessert. And now you're gonna go back just because you don't want to play his game?
I punch Voth in the face as hard as I can.
You'd have to move to attack him. You guys are sitting opposite each other.
Oh, that's fine. Whoop. I'll even like reach over the table and climb over. Hold on, let me turn on my rage though.
I'll kill
That way
you!
it's-
I'll kill you if you don't kill these other people to help this thing out that I could have. Nah, fuck.
2 glasses of water and a milk, and this is what happens.
Yeah, boy's out of his gourd, just fully torqued off of milk, bro.
A 27 will hit.
Okay.
I'd honestly probably just take the hit anyway.
You're probably laughing. You're like, this fucking guy jumped from the table to hit me. Cause, yeah, you get cracked in the jaw for 6 points of damage. It's not a light hit, but almost knocks you out of your seat.
I'll kind of do that lean back with it though as I get hit, as I'll just kind of like, you know, reset back up, and I'll just be like, are you done now?
I'll turn and point at you as you're like, you just punched him in the face, and I'll be like, go kill the fucking goblins. And as I say that, I'm gonna pop out my dread aura.
Okay.
So I have to do an intimidate check. Yeah, what's the DC?
If you're gonna do that, could you grab me some of those lady fingers again, since nobody can stop it now?
So it just says when you use this action, attempt an intimidation check. The DC is usually a standard difficulty DC of your level, but the GM can assign a different DC based on their circumstances, and the effect depends on the results of the check.
Okay. I'll save you a lot of rolling.
Okay.
These goblins are immediately terrified that there is a slobbering orc that may or may not want to go charge and kill them. Is that your goal? Is that your intent?
It will be now. Yeah.
I want you to just roll me 2d20s, and if they're not ones, you will win this fight.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow him, by the way.
They are absolutely non-combatant goblins. They are like 3 hit point, 10, 12 armor class fucking servers. They have no chance. They don't have weapons, they don't have armor. Not a 1. Absolutely dead. I'll tell you. You tell me how you kill these two. You can bull rush both of them. Yeah, absolutely deleted them. Tell me the carnage that just ensues in this moment.
So I would just and run over and just completely
Great heavens, no!
crossplay one goblin, and then as I get up from that and I see other goblins starting to cower, I would just throw both my axes at it.
Boom, 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 thump, thump, as they hit his corpse. He's dead before the axes hit the ground. They pretty much splatter him against the back wall. As you stand there, 2 dead goblins.
Feeling a modicum of satisfaction. I feel like I would get out of my rage because I got it out of my system.
Sure. Yeah, you definitely got it out of your system.
But I'm still breathing heavy and
So he did that. I followed. Are the desserts in a place that are now not covered in viscera?
Oh, yeah.
Or like we're out of the combat zone.
Yeah.
So while he's slaughtering them, I would have immediately just kind of went over that table, just started eating some, and if that like lemur dude's like just kind of sitting there, just like what the, I'm just be like, this is really good. What's the secret? Could you maybe show me how to do this sometime? Exquisite.
So you're gonna go into the kitchen?
Yeah, I'm like, I go to the kitchen. He's slaughtering them. I'm fucking up the rest of the food and talking to the lemur chef.
This fucking lemur looks at you. He's, maybe 3.5 feet tall, kind of like built little dude, big kind of, fuzzy, bushy looking cut and stuff like that. His chef whites, his little shackles on. He has like a few little bits of gear and stuff on him, and he's like, "Oh my god, did you Could you cut me out of here, please? I'll tell you anything you want to know about how to make chocolates and things like that if you cut me out of here.
I just kind of look what's tying him there.
A couple sets of leather ropes, pretty much. He has shackles on his arms, and there's like wall shackles that have. They give him room to move around the kitchen, but past that he can't go anywhere.
I cut
And
him
there's-
free.
No knives.
Oh, simple
Oh.
enough. You'll see me burn a focus point, and I've actually not done this before, as I pop
Oh.
dragon claws. And you
Oh.
just see fucking claws emerge. And now, so where those scales were, just kind of that like not quite having their color yet, you now kind of see a surge in those red scales as well when the claws appear. And I just literally just fucking slash it.
I love
As
it.
there's actually, there's a fire effect to it as well.
There's this dude. He's looking at you like, what in the fucking. As he's kind of freed, he kind of takes the wraps and wraps them around his hands. He's like, okay. Rips the ones on his legs off a little bit so they're not trailing behind him to trip him or anything. And he's like, well, you're not going to kill me, are you?
Of course not. Name's Voth, son of dragons, if you will. Though, if you are a good cook, you'd be welcome to join us. If you seem to be. My compatriot said you were trying to get out of here.
You're taking this all incredibly well.
Should I not be?
There's a look of like, ugh, on his face. He's like, I won't not help you, but you and your companion should go into the private chamber quickly. I'll explain more there if you have questions, but thank you for cutting me loose. If we get into there, I can tell you more. You're an idiot for going against the chef, but it's a nice, refreshing change to see those little punk goblins put in their place. I fucking hate those guys. Ugh, fuck those guys. And he grabs a small little pouch, and he makes his way over to this room. Anybody who wants to go in there can. Otherwise, you free reign of the rooms.
I was kind of shout to the others, and I'll be like, our good chef says we should join him in the other room, and he might be able to give us a bit more information. It seems our orcish compatriot has pissed off the chef.
He's like, well, you killed his employees, and you're kidnapping his slave for all intents and purposes. Also, no one makes it to this fucking stage. Only a handful of people. Most people don't survive past that. But and once everybody's inside, he says, "Shut the door, lock it."
Does Dream and Vesper come with us?
Yeah, everyone comes
Sleep
with
and
you.
Vesper?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And he goes, in a few more moments, the statue will do its thing, and then the gases will dissipate, and we can get out of there. He's like, that thing in the middle of the room has a tendency, after everyone's fat and happy and sleepy, to release a vile, poisonous gas that just fills the entirety of the stone room. He's like, every corner. This room and the bathroom are the only ones that are safe. But the bathroom has got other problems. So, I thank you for not making me die again and them having to hunt me down, capture me, put me back in that thing, and have to pay off the rest of my debt. So,
I've got like another plate of dessert, just like,
yeah,
of course,
that's
save
fine,
you.
yeah. So what the hell are all you doing, and why are you going against the chef? Suicide. It's got so many people, so many places.
Just continuing on our journey to try to get out of this.
Oh, you must have been here for a while if you're that delusional. But I appreciate the save.
I'll look at him and be like, no, seriously. We stumbled upon this place, and now it was just in our course, and now we're trying to get back out of here.
Oh, I get you. I've heard the story. The heroic folk down here do that for a couple cycles until they realize it's pointless. Trust me, I've seen or heard stories of a lot of people trying to get out. Doesn't work. But, hey, everyone needs to shoot their shot, right?
Yeah, it seems like we have a different trait that some don't seem to. As I just kind of wave my hand and fucking a magic shield just kind of appears in front of me.
He's like, I thought I was imagining things when you grew claws. And then that. What is that? How do you do that?
It's called magic, granted to me by my dragon's blood.
Oh, dragon's blood. Okay, yeah. He just is in a state of a lot of disbelief right now, but he seems just willing to chat and talk, so.
I start shaking my arm to start getting Abaddon out of his hiding spot.
By the way, I don't think I've seen a creature such as yourself before. Do you mind if I ask what you call your species?
I don't rightly remember what I was called. I
A
think
name, I
somebody
guess, would be more polite to
said-
ask.
I think someone called me a Charuka or something like that. It's little monkey people.
What's your name by chance as well? I skipped over that part.
Sweets.
At that, you just get like a hearty chuckle, just the I get it. That's a good name for you.
Thanks. He does not seem to share the sentiment. There's a hissing noise that comes from the other place, from the other room. As you can hear, he goes, "Yep, that's the gas. We'll be in here for about 10 minutes."
Tell us about the chef.
He's a psychopath. He's deranged. He has an imagination that is terrifying, even for this place. Things he comes up with, the deals he makes, and his charisma, and the things he can get and promise are second to none. Even the gangs don't come here to fight him. He's that big. He knows a lot. He's been around here for quite some time. He's always pushing the envelope on culinary whatevers. When he heard that I knew how to make desserts, he said he had a small stockpile. He holds up the little bag. And so I had to make desserts. I was about 2 shy, and then you all came in here and sent 5 back, putting me back to 7 shy. But then you killed everything, and I'm probably going to get murdered for that eventually when I get caught. But anything to get out of that room for a bit, I'll take it. Not a bad fucking play. Of course, you all are going to die too, but I'll remember this. This will be at least a fun excursion.
what
We
you're
may
saying
shock
is-
you.
Yes, you're just saying that no one has gotten past this point of this meal.
Oh no! He says, there has been 14. He said, if I got another 7, there would have been 21.
I see.
And then I have to give 23 desserts to be complete. I would have had 2 left after you guys. I was so excited. There's a couple that constantly makes it. A couple of hill giant folks. They don't even care about the poison. They just call it their after dinner nap.
So, the dessert's usually the final course. What's supposed to happen after? We can just leave now, correct?
They're like, no. I take it you're not into fine dining. There's one more course after the dessert. It's a mignardaise. It's a little treat they send you home with. It's usually also where the chef has his final say. You get to tell the chef how good his food was and what the experience was like. Blah, blah, blah. All this other worthless shit. It's literally like, you know how restaurants give you Andy's mints or some shit at the end of it?
Yeah.
It's that. They send you home with a little treat. Mm-hmm.
But I take it in this case, what he gives is not generally his version of a treat versus what others may perceive as a treat.
Well, his go-to is usually to take whoever you guys chose in the second course and chop them up into something real nice and pretty. Since y'all didn't do that one, I'm sure he had some other fucking idea. He did seem a little on edge today, a little extra perturbed. But seeing as you guys were here, I guarantee you it was you. He was definitely not happy with you.
I mean, we did correct him on some mistakes he made.
Slaw, go ahead and give me a lore check. And we'll see if you've heard of these hill giants.
He was irritated after I made something that tasted like cheese for him.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. He loves cheese. That's his favorite part. 19. Slaw, you've heard of these giants. They're the regulars. They often come here. And every 60 days, they try to make a visit. So they've been here quite a bit.
But do I know them as like a gang to be feared? Do
Oh
people?
no. They're not a gang, they're a couple.
Okay.
A power couple. You see two hill giants walking together, because usually they're fairly solitary.
Mhm.
You just give them their space. They're quite potent, quite formidable foes. They have no want or desire to hurt people most of the time. And it's just a trifle for them to have to fight and stuff like that. So most people know you give them a little berth.
Okay.
Other groups have made the mistake of like, yeah, we're going to take them down, and they've paid. And there's been some groups that got them. So, but they always seem to find each other, and they always seem to make sure they have their little times at the gourmand, and so on and so forth.
All this fantasy stuff, I forgot giants would be a real thing too then. How big is this giant? I mean, there was like the Jack and the Beanstalk giant, which was like, was really, really big, but I've also heard of much smaller ones.
Hill giants, he says, well, you met the Heroes Feast chef, right?
Yes.
You must have if you got this far. They're a little bit taller than the ogre.
Oh, okay. Not Jack and the Beanstalk big. Got it.
They're not like those giants don't exist down here. There's something about them tied to non-mortal stuff. I don't know. You just don't see them down here. They're tied to other places.
Do these ones also say fee fi fo fum?
I've never heard that. I don't speak giant though, so
Okay.
they're always pretty quiet when they get to the dessert portion, talking amongst themselves, being all real gross and cuddly.
I mean, would be a rather romantic dessert to finish off with. I can understand.
You are deranged. You are absolutely out of your mind. You understand this? This is not romantic at all. This is terrifying. It's disgusting. Your friends should probably fix whatever's wrong in your head. I know you can do that magic thing, but my God.
As I've stated, I'm a dragon. At some point, I will eventually get
okay.
big enough to where I'll potentially have to consume a humanoid. So, rather get that exposure while it's prepared rather than raw.
He looks to like the rest of you like a dragon. Okay, all right.
I'll just kind of look at him and shrug right as Abaddon's popping out of my arm.
He's like,
Is he still asleep?
Abaddon is, yeah, he's a sleepy boy. 10,000. So, you got to figure out a way to get rid of the poison sleep stuff. So, but after that, I mean, I don't know. Let's actually figure that out here in a second. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'll say for right this moment, yeah, he's shrugging off the last effects of sleep, but I mean, because you can like resummon him, right, without too much issue. So I mean, you could technically like kill him and then resummon him if you wanted to.
Right.
Correct. Yeah. Okay.
Is that because I thought that was a once per day thing in this?
Well, he hasn't died yet, so I could kill him and then resummon him on
Okay.
Monday.
Yeah. Well, let's just say that you took that route. You would have known that him being reformed would come back without the poison. It's
Oh,
just you
okay.
can't do it all the time. So it'd be like, yeah, you're like, I know how to get him back. It's just a pain in the butt. I gotta reform him inside me and shit.
Inside of you.
Inside of you. But yeah, no, he gets woken up a little bit as he flops to the floor, and the lemur guy's like, all right. Okay. He's like, yep. But 10 minutes is about past, unless you guys had anything else you want to talk about. He's like, well, I don't want to be anywhere near you guys when you make it out that thing. So you can either follow me and go out the back way, avoid this motherfucker altogether, or you can finish your dining experience. I mean, if you did that, you'd be doing me a real solid as I could slip out the back.
What is? I'll look at him and be like, "What's with the code? Just tell us what the end of the dining experience is."
Yeah, I don't
Is he
know.
gonna try to attack us.
He looks at you and he's like, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like you guys pissed him off a little bit. He might be a little bit want to attack. It's usually not his style, though. Usually he takes in all the things you've done and gives you a treat to go home with based off of, how you did. He's like, but I don't know. You talked shit about his cheese, and then old Dragon Boy here was telling me about some other shit you guys were talking, and like how you. I mean, and I haven't seen him this frazzled in a long time, so he might want to fight you. I know a way out. It's just we gotta sneak.
Well, I think we just killed 2 goblins for you to be able to survive a bit better, so my vote would be to complete this experience, but I know some of you are fed up with it, so if you prefer the back route, I will go with whatever the group decides.
I want to kill this piece of shit. Take him out for a while. Crush this thing. Make his oosh boosh his last mistake.
We've seen, so I guess we've kind of met him before with like kind of the presence he had. I guess would I have been able to size him up enough to think of whether I feel like I could challenge him in my current state? Obviously, he could be hiding his strength or whatever, so don't know how difficult that would be.
Give me a perception check.
Sure.
It's a pretty good roll. 24. You think you guys have tipped him to a point where he's off his game enough that it might be an even fight. He definitely seems strong. He has the backing of this entire place. He knows the terrain. And he's had a little bit of, probably about an hour plus now, at least since the last time you saw him, to plan what he's going to do. And you guys would be walking into whatever you. So, if he was going to attack, if you think that he's going to attack you, there's a very good chance that he would have the upper hand on prep, but you guys would probably be able to hold your own. I mean, he's only mortal, right? Not immortal. You've seen no one else here really has magic. This place, you've seen magic items. You saw one magic person was locked away and put in a fucking cupboard or a chest. So, I mean, you guys do have that in your arsenal that others don't. So, that is entirely up to you to decide whether you think you should go after him, but that's what you can kind of suss out with the 20.
So I'll just kind of hear your suggestion and be like, well, we'd he'd have a similar advantage to that of a dragon's den, but I think we could potentially challenge him if we could subvert his advantages.
I'll look at Ondal and be like, "What do you want to do?"
Well, I think we all know that if we're gonna get through this hellish place, we have to do it together. And we did tell Slaw we would back him through this experience. He has been here longer than us. I can say he's in good judgment. So if we must kill the chef, so be it.
You're not magic, right, Andal? Like, you haven't shown any magic signs or tendencies or abilities.
The only thing I've shown, which I don't think you would have seen because I haven't used it since meeting you, is that I did use a gravity weapon. So it's an initiate warden skill.
Oh, okay.
So there, yes, there's magic. You could assume, I guess, if you relate to magic, but you haven't seen me use any magic, present any magical ability.
Okay. Sorry, that was just for my own understanding.
Totally fine.
I'll look at Slaw and be like, how about this? I'll give you the advantage of getting behind the enemy. As long as you make a decisive strike, then the rest of us will join in.
That's fine with me.
Fine. I'll look at the little lemur dude and I'll be like, well, I guess we're gonna give you your distraction.
He gives you all like a stand and like I thank you. I'll remember your weird fucking faces. You guys are good. As good as one can get down here. I owe you one. If you find me out there, I got you back.
Good luck, sweets.
Feel free to spread Voth's name through this place.
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely let people know that Voth, the great dragon, saved me from my captivity, for sure. Yep.
Excellent.
Good story.
Please do that.
He like looks at everyone else like, is this fucking guy for real? Like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah. Oh. And he like gives like an over flourished bow, and then he's like, all right. He throws the bag on the table. You guys can have that. Fuck making sweets. He opens the door. You can see there's a very teeny tiny mist on the ground, barely. And he's like, ooh, watch your step. Don't kick up too much of that shit. He runs out. He's like, it's up until it's to the right and up the small corridors where you want to go. Good luck. Basically, you should go this way. He takes off this way towards the kitchen, and probably, presumably, up and out one of these places. But the room is yours, and you can see everybody's here, your whole crew. What is it you do next?
At the little curtsy or whatever that he does, I'll just kind of look at the followers and I'll be like, ah, yes, you could learn from his etiquette.
I'll look at the one that likes me and I'll be like, never bow to me.
He nods, and the one you've talked to a bunch, Voth, looks at you and goes, you do understand he was mocking you, correct, sir? You're like, what?
Story, thanks.
What? Bullshit?
If that's what he believed, maybe, but he still offered me the due homage.
He gives you a nod. Alright.
I'm going to detect magic.
I'll save you your trouble. There's nothing magic in here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The only thing of interest, if you wanted to look around here, is there's some basic food supplies, but they're all the kind of gross food supplies you'd expect.
Gotcha. And then he gave us the bag of sweets, so...
Mm-hmm. It's
I fucking take that.
one bag of sweets. Like some chocolates and candies and stuff.
Yeah, that's my bag of sweets.
Okay. But yeah, no magic. General kitchen stuff if you wanted stuff like that, but past that, yeah, not much. The the one thing you did see is like the dwarf, as if you guys do go out that way to check, his chest and stuff has opened up, and there are small little like canisters that have been opened that look like they released their gas. It's like it was a construct of sorts. It was a trap. It was a gigantic gas trap.
The oven Was it or the oven was it used at all?
Yeah, there's a little fire in there. It's not huge. It's not roaring by any means. He's not like doing crazy cooking.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I'd like to grab some uh, ash and chalk and whatnot from it and
Sure.
just put it in my pockets.
Done and done.
Pocket sand.
Pocket ash. You get soot and stuff. Your hands are all blackened by it, but yeah. Okay. What's next?
Start heading out.
Okay.
Yep. Making
As
sure not
we're-
to kick up. I'll just kind of mention it. Don't kick up too much of that gas.
Yeah. As we're walking, and it kind of feels like we're getting towards possibly the end of where we're supposed to meet this chef, I'll look over at Slaw and be like, okay, you must walk quietly and efficiently.
I'll just smile with a nod and I'll go into a stealth-like stance and attempt to stealth. And
As you do that, I start twisting magic around, and everybody would see the light of my halo kind of pulses slightly as you become invisible.
Oh. Full invisible, huh?
Yeah.
God damn, okay.
what does that do to stealth?
10 minutes. Nice.
10 minutes. It makes it undetected to all creatures, though the creatures can attempt to find the target, making it hidden to them instead. Once you use a hostile action, the spell ends.
Oh, okay.
10 minutes too.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
I blew a second level spell for you.
I was like, dang, we get that early.
No, I mean, I think that's what level you get in 5e, right?
I think so.
Hidden, invisible, and undetected.
Just realized the only
Man.
damage I've taken in this place has been from a punch from my compatriot.
Okay. Oh, I look cool. Made my token look super cool.
Okay.
Womp.
With that being said, yeah, he's got like the shroud around him. That's pretty rad.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, you guys have made it through this little passageway. It goes out through a long hallway, which you can tell after maybe 100 feet just turns back into the main building. You can see some of the creeping flesh that hates kind of permeating the walls. This comes to a hard left-hand turn, which you then skirt around. And you can see you're passing windows, which look out over the back courtyard, which you can see a weird structure that looks familiar, the parking structure, right? You can see that through these windows, which are kind of well maintained. Like I said, glass has been one of those things you've seen it, but it's never been in good condition if you have. So these full panes of glass are interesting. The rain comes down very much hard outside, and you can see off in the distance the squabblings and movings of people and stuff outside this building. You come up again. There's another turn to the left, and it passes through what you can only tell is like kind of like an end to this little corridor. Past that, it opens up into a large room where there's a lot of chefs and cooks and things like that prepping. There's just like a bunch of them cutting up little bits of meat or whatever the fuck else they have. They seem to be stewing stuff. You know, it's just the hustle and bustle of a kitchen. It's fairly large. There's probably like 100 people here processing and doing things to various foodstuffs. There's every manner you can expect of things in here. Cauldrons, pots, pans, little stoves, little presses, little places where you would see stuff hanging to dry or whatever. But it's very busy. There is almost no notice of you guys coming in here, especially for Slaw, who is able to move about absolutely undetected.
Uh, Does there seem to be any station that's not currently being used?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of stations that look like they could be ready to be used or just aren't being used yet.
Okay. I'd like to take the time in my invisible state to find a station that's the farthest from anyone.
Okay.
And I'd like to set up. Now, I know they're not using modern cooking equipment, like no gas stoves or anything like that,
It's
right?
mostly wood fired and stuff like that. That makes more
Okay.
sense here.
Um, how am I going to do this then? I want to set up the stove um, with the last grease splatter that I have,
So
and
sabotage it.
yeah, I just want to set it to explode. But I kind of want to put it on a timer with
Mhm.
rope or something like that, and situate it so that in 5 minutes or 8 minutes or 10 minutes, the
Starts
rope
a
will.
kitchen fire or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a thievery check.
Okay. My damn thing keeps resetting, so I'm like, where did my page go?
That is a grease fire. Mhm.
No, I'll use my my hero point. That's we can do those, right, to reroll.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Oh, so much better.
18, 28. You rig this little grease trap thing underneath where they would stoke the flame, just underneath to where it would then pop and then burst and spread burning grease, or, that would probably be what happens next. But you're fairly certain that it's well hidden, and most kids or most people, especially if they come here quickly to work, are going to try to do things fast and not scope it out for a 28 DC to check for shit for these chefs. That's not happening. So you'll probably start a grease fire the next time this fucking station is used. So, you set that. What are the rest of you doing? Are you just kind of waiting for him to do that, or are you just continuing on your path?
Just keep walking. We don't
Okay.
know what he's doing because he's invisible.
Yeah, unless he told us, we
Yeah.
would've just kept
So
walking.
a lot of you continue walking as Sloth goes off and does this little thing. You were met by a person that has a very similar coat and setup like Voth does at this point. It's like well dressed.
Don't I look great as the like fucking cape shimmers behind me as well?
It's last year's fashion, but it's not bad.
I think you mean to say vintage.
Everything in this place is vintage. Follow me. The chef has parting words for you all and would like to give you a small token of his appreciation, the Mignardies, for your experience and well wishes on your way out. He begins to lead you to a room.
Yeah,
Keep
follow
on
me.
trucking.
Okay. A lot of you are led to a room. A large, very singular, very sparse room. There is a single table in the middle of it where the chef sits. There is chairs enough for all of you to sit in front and across from him. The room is dimly lit. It looks as though there is a small plate in front of each of those things, with a little cover on top. And the maitre d' asks you to have your seats. The chef stands as you enter the room, gives you all a curt nod. The room is devoid of anything. This is very intimate, one-on-one kind of setting.
Is it still poorly lit when I enter the room?
Oh yeah. Unless you have your halo out or some shit.
Yeah, my halo's still on.
The looks you've been getting are absurd, but yeah, the room is as well lit as your halo allows for.
Cool.
Slaw,
I gotta
as
take my seat.
he's about to close the door, you're able to slink right in. The chef says, I see you've lost one. Where's your companion?
He decided to try to escape with the lemur fellow.
Interesting. Well, please, sit. I have one last dish for you, and hopefully good feedback, and we leave on good footing.
I'll look at him and be like, "Is it cheese?"
Unfortunately, no.
Sorry to hear that. I'll go sit down.
Mm.
I got Abaddon with
Yeah.
me.
Yep.
Noth-
That was well.
As far as I can tell, nothing has changed since the first time we saw him, right? Still same Chef Whites, knives in the same place, chef's towel in the same place, all that stuff, right?
Slick back hair, just kind of looking at you guys. He's very perturbed. You can there's a tension underneath his demeanor, but he's trying to put on the most happy face that he can.
And those chef knives, would they be um, attached to more of his pants or on the chef whites themselves?
There is a belt around his whites, and that belt has a sheath that has his knives.
Okay. Okay.
As everyone proceeds to sit, there is not a seat for your followers. There's not a seat for Sleep or for Vesper. And the maitre d' motions aside to them to stand over on the side. The chef walks in front and he pulls the little container lid off of all of yours, save the last one. He says, a small treat for you to go. And it looks like a little grilled morsel of meat with a glaze over top that looks good. Smells good. There's a little bit of cream on top of it with what looks to be something green, which is, you have barely seen any green here unless it was bile or puke green. This looks like fresh green, like a green onion or something along those lines. And then
Herbaceous.
something herbaceous, and then just a little sprinkle of what looks to be like pepper on. He says, sweet, savory, a small bite.
Do we all have the same plate?
Yeah, each one of you has the same thing.
I'll just kind of look up and what do we have the delight of having this evening?
Chef. Says, a bit of me given to you for humbling me, putting me in a different state. Challenged me culinarily, managerially. I have not felt this frustrated in years. It was you who gave me the dining experience and not the other way. Then 15, 16 cycles of dinners since anything has gotten this far. And I can't remember the last time anybody challenged my courses. So please, enjoy. I will ask you a few questions as partake, and then you can be on your way. And of course, we'd love to see you again. This is all said through like a strained voice of his. Does not seem to be very happy with the outcome, but he also seems to understand the situation he's in. You guys fucking bested him and bested all his stuff and fucked with his shit, and he's gonna have to hire new chefs. He's definitely, you can tell you've set this up to be he's gotta swallow his own pride and shit on this. But he does sit down behind you and is waiting for you to try the food and then some questions. At least that's what he says.
Is there any visible bandages?
Give me a perception check.
While he's doing that, I'll just kind of take the fork and I'll just kind of give him the
Horace, you see none.
Okay.
I'll just kind of speak up and say, well, I'm glad we could help you aspire to be something greater in the future. As I take our spirit and take my bite.
All right. So I'm not gonna put that. I'm not gonna put that in stealth. Griffin, you move into position, kind of sneaking your way through. Give me a stealth check. The 28 was your thievery check, so let's see how quiet you are. I know you're invisible, and that's gonna give you a lot of buffs, right? Target is undetected. All creatures that are creature attempt to find the target, making it hidden to them instead. Target uses a hostile action. The spell ends after the hostile action is complete. An 18. So you move through the room, quiet as fuck. You get into position. The chef sits to listen to these people, and you can see Voth. Oh yeah, so he takes a bite. Ondol, fucking Horace, do you guys take a bite?
I look over at Horace and try to judge if he's gonna take a bite.
You bitch.
I'm just waiting for like more of
What a
a
cop out.
facial signal.
What a
Because
bitch
well,
fucking thing.
well, here, just the inner turmoil is that, well, now Slaw's not here to say yes or no if we should eat it, so we've lost the front man. You backed him pretty well too, so
Okay.
I'm confused if we should or not.
That
Gotcha.
makes sense. I get that. It's sus, but I get that. I will explain
take
that
the
once I
piece
determine who's making the bites.
And I hand it to Abaddon to eat it.
Downs it.
Oh, that's really help me out.
Yeah, make your own choice, Brett.
I
Get
don't really have an
fucked.
animal to feed it to, do I? Now, oh, this is great.
Feed it to the two-headed dragon.
I would look at it and say under my breath, "Good luck, Slaw," and I would eat it. If Voth ate it as well too, then yeah. Sure.
Voth and Ondol, you taste a
Sure.
piece of meat that's well grilled, well seasoned. It's not bad by any means. It's warm. Around the outside of it, there's a nice like candied glaze. There's a slight hint of a musk to it. The little cream on top is a cream cheese kind of thing, and the herbs are some sort of herbaceous thing that you could get down here. So it's a little bit of savory, but a tad of sweetness because of the cream and the glaze. But it's not bad. It's definitely fucking. It's definitely a piece of the chef, though.
No, and
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
we don't
Yeah.
know that, right?
You don't know that, but it definitely, as you're chewing, he's like wincing, like,
It's his circumcision.
No.
I was hoping it was the placenta. Damn it.
He says, "How was the experience? I understand a lot of it is bad or negative things, but I wanted you to feel the negative things as much as the small victories you had, alongside the figures. My intent was not to kill you, although if you died as part of the meal, it makes sense. This is not a meal for the foolhardy or weak. Besides, you could just come back, maybe stronger next time, see if you could get through all the way. I only have very few people who wish to do this after their first attempt. They say I'm horrible and disgusting, but I'm doing the best with what I can, given the ingredients of it.
Would you like an honest opinion? I understand what you're going for, but trying to make it so horrible or pained or whatever that part of it is, it's really it's like reading a book that you know is just always going to have a bad ending. It's not enjoyable. Part that I find enjoyable was honestly when we were having fun just fucking with you. I was like, but
Wait,
John's
you were
laughing,
fucking?
not the chef. It's fucking great.
I'll just kind of look at you with the shocked face, be like, wait, you were fucking with him?
well, yeah, of course, yeah. I don't want to eat any of these people, and I don't want to partake in this display of depravity of let me eat someone else's intestines just to see them suffer. I don't enjoy that. I eat people because I have to, not because I want to. And I understand that that's kind of what you're working with, but I would almost say you would get a better effect out of people if you tried to give them just a little bit of happiness.
Ah,
It
that
would be
part,
the anathema to this place.
that part I agree with. You know, you called this the hero's feast, and I could definitely see how the trials are meant to be the trials of heroes, correct? But heroes are driven in many different ways. I would say heroes are not so much driven by the death and the slaughter and the wish to strike others, but generally driven by a need to save someone or something. The macabre takes away from that, I think. Wasn't quite a fan of that, although was able to deal with it. I imagine we'll have to deal with much worse at a later date.
He nods. He takes out a small notebook, starts writing. Jesus Christ, Griffin. That fucking roll, bro. Holy fuck.
Shh, I just sent it to you, I think. Shh.
You did well.
You did. I'm wanting to know now if it was really good or really bad.
So, you guys, Ondol, Horace, Voth, the three of you are, well, two of you are giving feedback. Ondol, you're kind of observing the feedback, but I think you all notice that as he sits there and he pulls out his thing and he's legitimately writing these things down, you can see both of his knives float up out of the sheath and then go invisible very quickly. He's been disarmed. And you can, I'm gonna say, Griffin, disarming someone of their weapon is a hostile action.
Okay, so then so help me understand how my stealth drops because I'm still behind him and he doesn't have eyes behind him.
Exactly. You appear, his knives in hand. He has no fucking clue you're there. Your friends do. And you have his knives in your hands.
Okay, so then I have a surprise condition.
If that's what you want to do, absolutely.
Okay.
You have free reign of this scene right now. Like, your friends are talking, he's taking notes, he's very involved in this.
Okay.
You haven't been noticed yet, basically, other than
No,
by
but
us.
you guys noticed because he just appeared into vision. He's like has these two sets of really nice looking knives. Like he's like, yep, or a pair of knives.
I you guys can see I'm just control breathing. I'm just not being loud about. Just you can just see my chest going in and out, and it's a what's the pregnancy term? The ooh wee face or whatever. Where it's like
Lamaze breathing. Yeah.
But as soon as I start to see my skin and I will I'll definitely maneuver one of the knives into my waistband, or I'll secure it to me in some fashion, and I'll only keep one. And then, are you considering that an action to stow it?
It is, but you're not in combat right now.
But I'm not
Like,
on combat. Okay.
Nobody fucking knows that you're there except for your friends who are. Two of them are like, so this is the feedback. You did bad. You should give people hope instead of being bad. As you're
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
don't tell nobody. I'm
Yeah,
behind
and
him with his knives.
We knew you were visible skulking about, so I don't think we'd be that shocked about you just kind of stealing his knives too.
You
Okay.
set it up, yeah.
Mhm.
So before I do any sort of act, I definitely look at the group to see if I receive any sort of visual cue of stay or not.
As Voth is giving kind of his explanation, and he's sitting there writing, I would just kind of do the whole, like, my eyes would just kind of flick for a sec, kind of make eye contact and flick right back down, and then I'd wink.
Okay. Anything from the other two?
I pay you no heed. This is all
Okay.
you, bud.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't pay the heed because I don't want to blow your spot.
Okay. Then I will attempt to grapple him in a chokehold from behind.
Okay. So
Um,
a grapple.
No raging or anything like that.
That'd be a grab, I believe, correct?
Uh-huh.
Isn't it athletics?
Or is it grapple?
It's versus con. Or wait, I remember we did this last time. It was the trip is versus dex. Was it the grapples versus?
Attempt to grab a creature and object with your free hand. Attempt an athletics check against their fortitude save.
Yeah,
so you
fort.
can grapple a target you already have grabbed or restrained without having a hand free. Okay. So give me a athletics check against their fortitude DC.
Let me just change it back to public. All right.
Not bad.
Right. So a total of 22. Their fortitude is a 25.
Rock.
Wow.
Because it's their DC would be 10 plus the save, correct? Yeah. Save bonus.
Yeah.
So a 25. So this is
Could have just stabbed him in the back of the head.
I'm still gonna say you have a little bit of advantage, right? So he's.
Oh, wait a minute. I have pluses because of
your hidden shit, right? Yeah.
Right. What's it called when rogues do sneaky shit?
Sneaky.
I mean, as far as so he would be considered flat-footed to you right now. So I give him minus at least a -2 to most stuff.
Hold on.
Because you weren't detected to undetected.
What's it called?
So flat-footed
Sneak attack.
only goes to AC though.
No, it gives me a circumstance.
I'm gonna give you circumstance bonuses for the situation. I'll give you 2.
Okay.
I'll give you a bonus
Okay.
of 2 right there, so it gives you 24. If you can somehow get another +1, or tell me why he has a -1.
Okay.
It'll work.
Hold on.
Clearly he is super distracted by my amazing presence.
I would say that you could give your friend a modifier bonus if you do something like that to pull the attention away. Absolutely.
Could my wink have been giving him guidance?
Is that how you normally cast guidance? Because it doesn't have verbal and somatic and material, or what components
I
does
honestly
it have?
don't remember. Let me look.
Check that up. Because if you can do it with a wink and like something, sure.
Yeah,
It's
got
just
guidance.
concentrate.
Doesn't have anything on how it's cast. I thought it had some shit.
It's
That's
verbal.
for initiative.
All right.
Yeah.
Now the question is, does this guy know that you're casting a spell? That's the thing. Probably not. So, I would say you could have been like, "You got this," or so. Whatever you would have.
Oh. So I have okay, I'm just reading the skill, but that I
I'm
have,
doing
I just
this.
don't remember. It's a subtle theft. When you successfully steal something, observers, creatures other than the creature that you stole from, take a -2 circumstance penalty bonus to their perception DCs. Never mind. I guess that doesn't quite apply.
I was like,
I got excited because I saw -2.
he definitely can't see you anyway. So,
Yeah.
But the guidance would give you that last +1 you needed, though.
guidance will give
Okay.
you +1. Anything else? Because there's succeeds and critical succeeds and all sorts of shit in this game. I don't know if
No,
you
not
wanna,
at the moment.
you want to try for anything else. All right, so
No.
a 25 is successful. Your target is grabbed until the end of your turn, unless you move or your target escapes. Okay.
So you gave him a hug.
Right.
That is an action. You still have two
Yes.
more if you want to
Yes.
do something.
So
You
as
can-
I
Attempt another grapple check to grapple him, if you wish.
is that not what I just did?
You grabbed him.
So you grappled and
Yeah.
grabbed. It's got
Oh.
like stages to it or something
Yep.
like that.
Oh, I see. Well, I definitely want him to be in a grapple so that he doesn't move anywhere and the others can just So then I would roll another athletics check. Is that one time to understand?
I'm double checking, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is. Since this is kind of the first time we're doing it, right? All right, so grapple. You can grapple a target you already have grabbed or restrained without having a hand free. So, requirements: you have at least one hand free, or you have them grappled or restrained. So once they're grappled, you're held in place by any other creature, giving you the flat-footed and immobilized conditions. If you make an attempt to manipulate action while grabbed, you must do a flat check. Blah blah blah. Restrained, you're tied up and can't barely move or whatever. You can grapple at. So he is grappled. So he is flat-footed and
Okay.
immobilized conditions, right? So those conditions: flat-footed is -2 to AC. Immobilized is you can't use an action with the move trait. If you're immobilized by something holding you in place, you basically push each other. You got to make a check. So he is grappled. He has the grabbed condition. So you still have 2 actions for other shit.
Okay. Then if that's the case, I'm gonna interact with an object and take the ashes from my hand and I'm gonna stuff them down his throat.
Ooh. Okay.
And I'm just gonna be in his ear and not whisper, but just be really aggressive and not yell. Yeah. and just be like, today we bring you ashes for an asshole.
He thought about that this entire time, guys. I want you to know that's the one he chose to get up here with. That's good. All right.
Prepared by all the poor sinners that you've just completely devastated for far too long. And please take time to enjoy it as I'll stuff them in his mouth. And then for my last action, since I have quick draw with the knife, I'll just put it into his side. But I have to do that with the third penalty, right?
No, because it's your first attack.
Oh, okay. Does it have special properties or anything like that, or is it just a dagger?
So it is a +1 dagger that has a few other little things that you have no idea about, but they might pop off if you roll well enough.
Okay, let me just add a random dagger to my thing real quick, and then.
Okay.
No. Huh. Okay, equip. Have in one hand. Cool.